First of all, welcome everybody. We'll, I'm sure, have some others joining us throughout. Just for your knowledge, we're recording this session so that we can add it to our online learning library. First and foremost, let me welcome our speakers today. So it is my pleasure to introduce our representatives from the M1 Concourse. Tim McGrane, who is the CEO, and Chris Pekorski, who is the Director of Marketing and Communications. Welcome. And then it is my pleasure also to introduce Andrea Trudeau, who is the Event Services Director for the Detroit Auto Dealers Association, and Tabby Fulkerson, who is the founder of the Fulkerson Group. They are responsible for securing and negotiating partnerships for Motorbella. And I will take no more time. I'd like to first turn it over to Tim to kick things off.
Dean, thank you, and thank you to the Auburn Hills Chamber of Commerce for the opportunity to let us share sort of the M1 Concourse story with your members. We're going to share the screen. Okay, so for those of you who may not be familiar, the M1 Concourse facility is located on Woodward Avenue, just at South Boulevard. We're an 87-acre property, and we've got just a short video here to do an intro.
The automobile is woven into Detroit's DNA, and from the most passionate car community in the world comes your one-of-a-kind motorsports destination and automotive playground. The Champion Motor Speedway is 1.5 miles of performance track, featuring 11 technical corners, a 1/3 mile straightaway, and 30 feet of elevation change. An exhilarating venue for technology demos, thrill rides, custom driving schools, or enjoying your private car collection, where over 150,000 fans gather annually to watch some of the most thrilling motorsports events in the world. Drifting, street legal drag racing, time attack competitions, and other thrilling events. Featuring a 2.5-acre vehicle dynamics pad with over 100,000 square feet of blacktop, a 6,000 square foot event tent, and the largest luxury garage community in the world. The ideal setting for product launches, tech exhibitions, festivals, large-scale demos, client entertainment, and events. Just 30 minutes away from anywhere in Metro Detroit. The palette for your personal passion and the platform for your next corporate moonshot. The M1 Concourse is your perfect venue.
So as the video showed, we've got a facility here that has multiple opportunities. We have a private garage condo complex. We have 250 privately owned garage condos. But the facility M1 Concourse also has a public-facing opportunity, which is the events that, as you saw in the video. And on the diagram here, which you'll have copy of in the recording, it'll give you the opportunity to oversee the different areas that we have. One thing that's happened here since that video was produced was the building of our new event center. So this is a brand new building. It's about a 30,000 square foot building. Chris, if you can forward the slide. There we go. It's about a 30,000 square foot building. It has a approximately 7,500 square foot meeting space that will be divisible into 3 separate areas. It is also located directly adjacent to our pit lane. So the meeting space will have the opportunity for automobiles to be able to go either from the track into the building or vice versa, from the building out onto the track. This building will open September of this year. Another part of the building which will be used but not open is the restaurant. We will have a public restaurant. This will open sometime in 2022. It will be a ground floor restaurant with an open deck patio to overlook the track, and we'll have an upper level sky deck bar. So this shows the meeting space, obviously an artist representation. Again, each of the 3 areas will have, architectural doors that will open up and lead out onto the meeting space. So let's go into some of the events that happen here. So again, from a public event point of view, this year, we will have our traditional cars and coffee events. Unfortunately, they did not happen last year. They will run June through October, as you can see there. These are much sought after events. We have approximately 1,400 cars that show up per event. And then we're bringing back what has been our Cars Under the Stars fireworks spectacular on June 27th. Going into the major events that we do, here are 3 of the 4 major events that are coming to M1 Concourse for 2021. Returning on August 13th and 14th will be the Motor Trend Group's Roadkill Nights. This is an event that's held both on the M1 Concourse facility, but also takes place on Woodward Avenue. Motor Trend Group work with both the city and the state to close down a section of Woodward Avenue to actually do drag racing on that particular road, which is obviously part of its legacy. The following weekend, along with on top of Woodward Dream Cruise weekend, we are doing a new event called Woodward Dream Show. And this is going to focus on those historic cars that made the Woodward Avenue legacy what it is for Dream Cruise. But cars, either because of their historical nature or their value, you probably won't see on public roads today. So this is a 3-day event that we're doing at M1 Concourse in August. Then our next event, which will happen the end of September through the first weekend in October, is a brand new event called American Speed Festival. And this event will represent the automobile past, present, and future. There will be a series of 6 classes of cars that will do timed runs around our 1.5-mile circuit. It's not a wheel-to-wheel competition race, but more of a timed run against the clock, or if the car is historically significant and they just want to do demonstration runs, then that's what will happen. It'll be somewhat of a lifestyle event with an automotive theme. The first day is actually a driving tour where the participants will leave the M1 Concourse facility and head out to the Ken Ligenfelker collection, the Henry Ford, and the Automotive Hall of Fame. And then the next 3 days will be events happening there. But the weekend before this event will be the Motorbella event, which M1 Concourse is extremely privileged to be the host facility of. And I am going to pass it over to Tavi and Andrea to tell you all about Motorbella. And thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Andrea Trudeau. I'm with the Detroit Auto Dealers Association, and we are going to be producing Motorbella. So how we got here with everything with COVID and deciding to move the auto show out of January to June, and it was supposed to be June 2020. What we found is that our brands were really wanting to get more people to actually experience the vehicles rather than just kick the tires, if you will, and see them in an indoor capacity. They really wanted to be able to get people to get in the cars, to have it be a more experiential experience for our attendees. And the only way we could think to do that was to expand outdoors. And you can't really expand outdoors when your show's in January. So the decision was made, and we've been kind of coming to this decision over a number of years, and it finally came together and worked out. And then we all know what happened. COVID hit. So we ended up moving to our second choice of dates, which was in September. And then when that also didn't work out because of risk factors and things like that, we had already been working on this concept called Motorbella. It was originally going to be part of the downtown footprint. Then eventually we started working on a concept that it was going to be at M1, and it was going to be our gallery event. If anyone's familiar, our gallery event with the high-end luxury cars, American Express Centurion cardholder members, and then that was going to be held at M1 with drive experiences and things like that. So what we did was we said, okay, well, taking the risk of possibly not being able to have the September auto show indoors was just something that we couldn't do. But we said, but hey, this Motorbella concept is not going to be the Goliath cost and risk that an indoor event at TCF Center would be, why don't we just build on this concept and have it be an outdoor event? And that is what brought Motorbella to be. So we really see that Motorbella is not a traditional auto show. It's an auto-centric event. And what that does for us by defining it as that is it gives us a lot more freedom. It doesn't hold the same rules and regulations from the brands that an auto show would. So we can still do a lot of the same things, but what we can also do is accept support from the region or local dealers or even collectors, things like that, things that in the world of auto shows, the brands may not allow because they're held to a certain standard. So it's really been working out fantastically for us, and we're getting lots of support from different levels of the companies, and you know, that's great. We're ready to have everybody come and really show their best, put their best foot forward out at the M1 Concourse. So here is our calendar. We are going to be September 21st through the 26th. So the first 2 days, 21st, 22nd, those are our press and industry days that we are combining. Generally in the past, those have been separated, but I think it's a really great add-on, add up really for our industry attendees that they will now be able to see press conferences. Those are also going to be our AutoMobility days. So AutoMobility is our technology and startup focused show that we started a few years ago. We were able to immediately sell it out. That we get a lot of support from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, especially with our startups. And they really like connecting those startups with our suppliers and everyone that attends. I know that there have been actually some of those startups that have been bought and purchased by some of the suppliers showing or brands showing at the auto show. So that's really exciting that we're able to provide those connections for those people. Then in the 23rd through the 26th, we go into our public days. We are projecting doing about 150,000 people over those 4 days. We are basing that off of what Roadkill Nights can pull in, and conservatively thinking that will be a little bit higher than that. I don't think that that's out of line at all. When we were at TCF Center, it wouldn't be out of line at all for us to have, you know, on a light day, 75,000 to 85,000 people through in a day. So we are being a little bit conservative, knowing that because we will have to be shuttling most of our attendees in, so parking off-site, things like that, plus keeping in mind potential social distancing limits. I think that that's a good number to go with. So here we have the layout of the campus of M1 Concourse. So I'll kind of quickly go through these different numbered zones and explain what you can expect to find in each. So number 1 in yellow, our grandstands, media center, and flex space. So there will be an L-shaped grandstand with one portion being tented for our media center and the rest being grandstands for viewing of the track, number 7. So the 1 mile portion of the track will be a hot track. We will have brands buying out different time slots to run hot tracks and do product demonstrations on those first 2 press days. We will have a stage in this area. So that will also be where you'll be seeing product debuts. So that's going to be a really exciting area to see. And then in additional space you'll have behind those grandstands, I do have a brand looking at potentially doing a drive activation. In number 2, where it's labeled AutoMobility, that is going to be a large tented area that it's going to be about 26,000 square feet under tents. That is going to be our technology and startup focused displays, lots of participation from universities and things like that. And what you're once that goes away after the second Press and Industry Day, that area will become our food court slash retail focused area. So that is where you're going to see, we'll leave at least one of the tents up and have lots of seating and shade and probably some form of entertainment for general public. Now we go to number 3. We currently have it labeled as OEM. And for those who don't know, OEMs are, it's original equipment manufacturer, and it's just kind of a nickname for what us in kind of the industry call the automotive brands. So we have it currently labeled OEM Off-Road Experience. So that is raw, unutilized space that is on the M1 Concourse campus. So what we will be utilizing it for is allowing brands that want to build out track or drive experiences, whether it's doing something with maybe creating a little hill to show how the car features work. So I currently have 3 different drive experiences exploring this area. So we're very excited for that. You can see it's all very butts and seats, really getting to experience the vehicle and how it works. That is what a lot of the focus is on right now with the brands. So then, as Tim mentioned, the new event showroom and restaurant at number 4. We're really excited to hold some panel discussions and different kinds of presentations in that area. And then you'll notice on either side of the event showroom and restaurant, you have 2 parking lots to the right and to the left. So those are going to be utilized as staging areas for street course ride and drives. A lot of the brands are looking to, as I said, get butts in seats and then have those vehicles be able to exit off the campus and drive around the city of Pontiac. We're working with someone who's potentially going to be setting some different routes for the cars to take that could go through some points of interest in and around the city. It could have things to do with transportation. So we're excited to see that. Number 5 is the main displays. This is where you're going to see a lot of the displays. Most likely not to the scale of what they have historically been inside TCF Center, but more just a little bit lighter, but some of them will be, you know, pretty significant. I have one brand trying to take up 50,000 square feet and feature 2 drive experiences within that display. So, but then I also have cars that are just coming, you know, a handful of cars. They're going to put up a tent, have a desk to present information to people. So you're really going to see the full gamut. And then finally, number 6, we have the private garages. Private garage owners board has graciously allowed us to have a sublet program for some of the private garages that choose to participate. So these private garages can be rented out either by the day, by the week, and used for hospitality purposes, things like that. Getting really great response from that. So that is something that I think is going to be a really nice program for both us and the garage owners. And we're really excited to have them excited to be part of this new and great show. So this is just an example of, you know, some of the things that you're going to see with the Motorbella footprint, some of the different tent and display options and use of the track. Now I'd like to turn it over to Tabby Fulkerson with the Fulkerson Group. She has been an integral part of the auto show for many years, and we couldn't be happier to still have her with us. Take it away, Tab.
Thanks so much, Andrea. Andrea and I work tied at the hip. Andrea with the automakers, and we pretty much work with everybody else. So I'm here to talk to you a little bit about partnerships as well as what the various parts of the event will be about. As you can see from this particular slide in our deck is that we're really going to be showcasing mobility from A to Z that's going to be on display, either on the track or having displays in various aspects of the Motorbella footprint. And our focus is on media, of course, industry professionals, that would be C-level executives, as well as auto enthusiasts. So press and industry days are going to be the 21st and the 22nd. This is unique for the auto show community to have both press days and industry days at the same time. But we're delighted because that means there's going to be outstanding VIP networking options. So the OEM, the automaker press conferences, will be on Tuesday, September 21st for most of the day. And they'll be engaged, the automakers will be engaged with on-track experiences, debuts, displays, announcements, and that will be the focus of that day. On the second day is the September 22nd, is the Technology Conferences Day. That's the time in which our auto suppliers, and there'll be probably about 30 of them, will be involved with making debuts, product announcements, as well as being involved with some panels we'll talk about a little bit more. As long as travel restrictions are lifted and they're getting better, I just talked to our folks over at Delta the other day. We hope to see media from around the world. And we're going to have dozens of track demonstrations. Frankly, 20 plus is a little low compared to with what Andrew has been able to secure. And I think, again, the VIP experience you'll experience on Press and Industry Days will be unprecedented. AutoMobility is an event within an event that's been taking place, let's see, I'd say this is about the 6th year. If you ever came down to the show in prior years, it was the technology showcase that was in the lower level, right off the atrium. AutoMobility is really held in conjunction with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, and they, about a week and a half ago, signed on with us again. And they have been tremendous, state of Michigan, tremendous partners with us. And that will take place, it's in its own, under its own 2 tents, really, as Andrea showed you on the map, on the 21st and the 22nd, clearly during Press and Industry Days. So one of the tents will feature more established companies like a Magna or a Mala. The other tent will feature startups, and we're expecting probably twice as many startups is our goal, but at least we've said 30 plus tech companies will be on display. And we do also know there'll be a number of universities that will be showcasing their latest R&D, which is probably one of the more fascinating parts of AutoMobility, is to see what many of the students and their educators are coming up with. So what you'll see in AutoMobility is celebration of mobility, what's going on, latest technologies, focused on connected car, e-mobility, autonomy, and certainly smart city exhibits. So it is a very robust and fun area. And I have to report that almost every time we've had this event, one of our startups is acquired by a tier 1 auto supplier. So you're going to see some very interesting technology there. The symposiums that Andrea mentioned earlier take place on Wednesday, and they will be in the new M1 Event Center, which has a very robust and progressive AV system. So we'll be able to be presenting panels probably beginning about 9 a.m. that morning with the ones that the state of Michigan will present about their work with the startup communities, all the way through the day till the end of the day. MEDC will be hosting a reception in the AutoMobility area on that day, on Wednesday, September 22nd. So you're going to see a lot of very interesting and dynamic executives during those panel discussions. And if any of you would like to suggest C-level panelists, feel free to email me or Andrea, and we will be in touch with them. We do have a curator who organizes the panels, but we will be having quite a few different types of discussions about mobility that day. And then finally, in terms of some of the fun opportunities that are available for many of you as auto suppliers will be the auto-centric hospitality. Now, obviously, the picture on the right is a picture of one of the more glamorous and fantastic garages that are just hidden gems out at M1 Concourse in their private garage community. We have dozens of garage owners who are eager to lease their spaces. Some look like this. This is the second floor. And on the first floor, they showcase the cars that the particular owner has been collecting. Others are white box. In other words, there's maybe a restroom facility, kitchen facility, but really it's a place to bring in your own cars and your own displays. So we have opportunities like the one you're seeing, to opportunities that enable you to really create your own displays. And the views from these garages are different. You see that some see the track, some see the Motorsport footprint, and some are in the interior. So we're going to start marketing those next week. So again, any of you interested in finding out more about that leasing program, and I have to thank Tim and his team for helping us put this together and helping the private garage owners get very, very excited about this. So they'll be available on a limited basis, and we look forward to talking to you about this program, which will be really exciting. Public days, you know, the show over many years, I've been involved, I have to admit it, 27 years with the North American International Auto Show. So I've seen when it started almost from scratch. I started in 91. The public days were always just, you know, come on down, come see the cars. There wasn't as much emphasis on interaction or activity. People would come and look at these gorgeous, gorgeous show places that the manufacturers would put on, more static displays. But what we're finding is the automakers are asking, can we get consumers in cars? Can we get consumers to experience vehicles like they never have before? And that's exactly why we're out at M1 Concourse and exactly what's going to happen during public days. So consumers, they won't be driving, there will be professional drivers, but they will have an opportunity to get on track, which will be really exciting. We're expecting about 150,000 attendees, and tickets will be available soon for not only industry days, and anyone can buy an industry day ticket, and that'll enable you to go to the OE press conferences. And then tickets, of course, will be available for public days, which run from Thursday, September 23rd through Sunday, September 26th. As far as the marketing outreach, I know a number of you represent tier one auto suppliers. The industry outreach will be extensive, but more focused and coordinated by SMZ, an advertising agency out of Troy that's just done an incredible job and work with all of us with DADA. They'll certainly be doing an email campaign. The show has a very robust 75,000 opt-in email list, which is comprised really of media and industry executives. Some print advertising, most of that comes through our office. Most of that is done in trade. We're working on certainly some local trades like with your Free Press and News, but also such publications as Road and Track, Car and Driver, etc. Digital, of course, social media and digital marketing will also take place to make sure we have a lot of industry on site. As far as the consumer marketing outreach, due to the pandemic, it'll be more focused on Michigan and some of the surrounding states. In non-pandemic years, it's focused all over the US and even globally, but you'll see it's very robust. There's an aggressive budget that SMZ will manage that will include outdoor, print advertising, radio, television, digital, social media, and obviously positioning of search of Motorbella. So it's a very robust campaign. On our next slide, this is just a very quick summary of the partnership opportunities, and those are coordinated primarily through our office. If you're representing an automaker, Andrea will be the one to be talking to, whereas if you're representing a supplier, a retailer, another type of organization, you'd come over our way. Some of the opportunities include on-track demonstrations on the 22nd and during public days, press conferences, announcements. We've mentioned the private garages. And then we also have the technology exhibit areas and AutoMobility, and we expect a full sellout in those two tents. We have a few events that engage a company in co-branding. So that means you have minimal fulfillment, such as we have recently sold the naming rights of the active track, the hot track recently. It's that sort of thing. And then we also will have some signage options for available to all kinds of companies. And then also what comes with being involved with Motorbella, as it did with NEIS, is we also engage you in the global PR, social media, web recognition that, you know, sponsors and partners deserve. So that gives you a very good summary of the partnerships that are available to you. And I think our best thing to say right now is see you in September. And all of us, Tim and team, and Andrea and I are available for any questions you might have.
Okay, so first of all, thank you all for that really informative presentation. I've received 2 questions so far, and they're related to consumer opportunities as far as participation goes. And so one is, you know, with you mentioning there's probably going to be more than 150,000 people in attendance, is there an unlimited number of tickets available each day, or is there a finite number?
So that is going to be decided as the COVID restrictions continue to be lifted. We are currently looking at guidelines that are being followed over at the Suburban Collection in Novi. Some of their rules for indoor basically line up with needing 44 square feet per person available. And with the amount of space we have out at M1 Concourse, that would allow us to have 20,000 people on site at any given time. So I think that that is a pretty good indicator that will be more than adequate with our spacing out there. But again, there are different rules and regulations regarding outdoor events right now, but as vaccination rates continue to go up and up, we are very confident that by the time we get to September that we will be in a very good place.
Awesome. Okay. And then another question that came in was specifically about the broadcasting of your presentations that are going to be on September 22nd. Will those be available online, you know, local television? How is that going to work for those that can't obviously be inside the event center?
Mm-hmm. And that's a great question. We get that a lot. The decision regarding it being broadcast live is still pending. We anticipate post-event, they'll be posted online. We want to encourage people to come down. So, but it is, the specifics are still in development, but it's very much top of mind.
Okay, sounds great. And then another question about parking specifically, and as far as how and where is that being coordinated as far as, you know, locations, and is busing being scheduled, or would that be the responsibility of those who actually have parking lots close by that would be able to do that?
Yep, so we are working with a great partner, Dan McGowan with ProFoot Presents. Has been brought on, and he is actually building out what that shuttle slash parking program will look like. It will be something where we have set lots that you will have the opportunity, consumers would have the opportunity to pre-purchase parking in and be directed directly to, and then have shuttles that are coming on a schedule running throughout the day to bring people to the show site.
Got it. Okay. So after the fact, I'll get that contact information from you, and or they can just reach out to you directly to coordinate that and the introductions. Yep. Okay, another question about outside food vendors. So do you have everyone secured? Is there outside vendors allowed to participate, and how would they get involved?
Okay, so all people wanting to become food vendors, those contacts would go through me. I have hired Andiamo Catering Group to manage our food program. So they will be the exclusive caterer and caterer on site, and they will also manage a food truck and sub you know, vendor program for us. So they'll like handle all the health and safety things. Now, I will say that on the garage owners or hospitality side, since those garages are privately owned condos, for lack of a better word, there is no exclusivity that the show can put over those garages. So I would say if there was somebody having some hospitality, they would be free to really use whomever they'd like for that hospitality usage. We do have, obviously we would recommend using Andiamo just because they're on site, and I'm sure there's a little bit of ease with that. But again, the show holds no say over what goes on in the private garage owner community.
I should also add that we do have a program if any of you own or represent a restaurant or a destination in the nearby area and would like to be promoted by Motorbella. We have what's called an off-site package, which for a very modest fee enables you to be listed on the website, acknowledged as a destination. And we've had several restaurants come our way. So if any of you represent those types of organizations, destinations, and or food establishments, please let us know and we'll get you that package.
Yeah, what we call it is our official sanctioning packages.
Mm-hmm.
So we have sanctioned locations that the show will promote, as Tavi said, on the web, on social, things like that.
So I'll throw this out, and one of our members who's on right now is the franchise owner of A Nothing Bunt Cake, which is close in the area.
Oh.
And so I think he's just specifically interested in how he might be able to be a part of the show if there was a way with, obviously understanding Andiamo's the preferred caterer. Is there opportunities for, like him to have a display and that type of thing?
Correct. And at that point, it would be through all food vendors would need to come through Andiamo for all the health department permitting things. But as I said, we will have like a food truck program. So this could be where he gets a table in the retail/food court area. But again, it all just kind of gets run through Andiamo. So
and the second
information, and I can share that.
And the second piece of that is that if you don't wish to be on site, again, we would send you this very modest package that would enable you to be promoted to our attendees. So you could do both, I suppose.
Very good. Okay, next is if someone's looking for a partnership, what would be the best point of connection here? So we can, I don't know if you guys are able, if you could put your contact information within the chat, that would be great as far as from a partnership perspective and or just who they should reach out to.
Andrea, either one of us can answer that. If you represent a auto manufacturer, you're definitely going to Andrea. If you're involved with a food truck or some type of food service, again, that would go over to Andrea. If you're a tier 1 auto supplier or a retailer, a company that is not a car company is the best way to put it, and not involved in food service, that would come over to us. So we'll make sure you get that contact information.
Okay, that sounds great. And you mentioned food trucks, and so we have a question about elaborating on the food truck area experience, and is there a potential for nonprofits to promote or build awareness for themselves at the event?
That is TBD at the moment. We are currently planning what a charity what a potential charity event could look like. The plan would be for whatever we do regarding charity, that it would be local Oakland County charities that would benefit. We are doing a charity-based event downtown in the city of Detroit in August called Motor City Car Crawl. And that will benefit our traditional children's charities from Southeast Michigan. So I guess I would say TBD, we'd need to get a little bit more information about how that could potentially work. And I don't know if that's, a charity, manning the stalls, kind of deal, but yeah, that would have to be explored a little bit more.
Okay, gotcha. The next question would be, what opportunities might there be for helping with branded merchandise?
I believe that, don't know if we have a signed contract with that yet. We have someone that we've traditionally worked with, but if contact info is provided, I can reach out to the person we have on staff that handles that for us.
Okay. So then as far as, let's see here, next question.
I see that Maria from the Hub Stadium, who is our first off-site experience partner, sanction partner, has said they're very excited to be involved. So nice to meet you, Maria.
Andrea, Tavi, Tim, Chris, thank you all so much for your time. And we will be happy to send everyone the follow-up for contact information for everyone involved so that you can follow up respectively based on your interests. So thank you again so much for taking the time this Friday morning.